Doubles and coffee. Well, PNM sale of a refinery moved to lease of a refinery. It was amazing watching the PNM Prime Minister select stumbling and fumbling, trying to explain what has taken place with the sale of the refinery, which is now the lease of the people refinery, while the real Prime Minister disappeared to California just so, without any word of why he went, who called him, where he going, just disappear to try and pretend like he had nothing to do with the sale or the lease of the refinery that belonged to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And that man, Smallpin, stand up there with his hand, trying to stop his hand from doing this, because you know once you do this, lies coming out. He just tried to tell all you, well boy, Oando, yes, they had like 52 adverse reports in the media and so on internationally. But the committee that we set up, Scotiabank, that my father had a great relationship with anything and everything that is Scotiabank for over 50 years, that they and Vishnu Danpal, the High Commissioner to London, like he just get a position. He wasn't appointed by the PNM government after serving as a permanent secretary who defended the economic policies of the PNM as they took us into failed nation status and economic devastation. Vishnu Danpal. This man, Smallpin, tried to stand up there and tell you all the objectivity and the corporate governance and the hands-off approach, and that it is just the recommendation. We in the cabinet, we accept the recommendation from Scotiabank, Daddy, and Vishnu Danpal, PNM supporter and policy of the PNM implementer and High Commissioner appointed by the PNM. So the cabinet just like, we had to take these recommendations, and we accept the recommendation and instruct THPL under Kwamina, Rowley personal attorney, to move ahead with negotiations for the lease or the sale or the lease of the sale of the refinery for you, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, on the eve of an election. We don't know who's going to call the election, whether it's Rowley in California or Smallpin here in Trinidad and Tobago. That is what you all accept from the PNM. It is amazing that we stand here and take that. But Oando is fantastic. Yes, 52 adverse articles, but the committee met with them, talked to them, and satisfied everything. Oh, they were delisted twice from the stock exchanges of South Africa and Nigeria and so on. But I know big thing. It was only because their financial accounts were late, and therefore they were delisted. Well, financial accounts being late, I know big thing, says Smallpin. Well, think about where he stands. He in the government of Trinidad and Tobago, and we had no audited accounts from since 2023, 2024, because them couldn't provide it, and 3.6 billion in ghost revenue cannot be explained, and $1 billion of actual expenditure, no bills, no invoices, no paperwork. So to take Smallpin opinion on financials or Coleman Butt's opinion on financials being late, when Caribbean Airlines ain't put no audited accounts for 9 years, all you could take that, because that is them opinion, right? But it is simply amazing that Rowley and Smallpin now, you would expect them to attack Kamla, but it's not the attack on Kamla. Now that we're seeing pressure not only with the refinery, but now all bets off. Dragon can't dance. Maduro gone through. Trump issued a statement backed up by Rubio. I told you Trump coming. I told you Rubio coming. I told you Elon Musk coming. And anybody who supported Maduro's illegitimate regime and tried to uphold them while he is a indicted narco trafficker, money launderer, and drug trader, any people who would support that, something had to be wrong with them. But Rowley and Smallpin now, in the face of the USA, you see, because they held the position of Camille. What Trump could do we? What Trump could do we? Trump is the president of the United States of America. Our citizens love the USA. We like to travel there. We like to go there to go to university. We want to go on holiday there. We want to go Disney World. We want to do business there. We want to sell things. We want to bring barrel from the USA for all the styles and fashion and things. We love the USA. But Rowley and Smallpin love Maduro. Rowley attacked Kamla, but it's not attacking Kamla. Defending Maduro in the face of a geopolitical crisis that he and Small Pen have put us on the wrong side against our trading partners, against our real friends, against the European Union, against Canada, against USA, against South American countries that have elections, against democracy, and on the side of Maduro and Delcy Rodriguez, of Cuba, Iran, and China, Russia. That's where Rowley and Small Pen have us. Why? What is this? What is this obsession with Maduro? Rowley defending Maduro in the face of Marco Rubio, saying all bets off, all deals off. This is what the UNC has been telling Small Pen and Rowley. Stop your obsession with cross-border gas, with Dragon. Deal with what we have. Work hard here. Implement here. Produce, increase production here. Get bid rounds. Let us handle our business. If something else happens, something else happens. But they ignored all of that work. They took the risk. They put your children's lives and futures in the hands of a dictator. They didn't care that the man is undemocratic. They didn't care that he's illegitimate. Them fight with Mondelo, the US ambassador. Them fight against the Rio Treaty. Them fighting for Maduro and now defending him in the face of USA and other friends going against and disagreeing with the illegitimate regime of Maduro. What Rowley and them have with Maduro so? But they're carrying you, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, down with them. Do you know what will happen? Do you know the pressure that will be brought to bear on citizens in Trinidad and Tobago, outside of Trinidad and Tobago, in the diaspora, because of Rowley and Small Pen? Or you really love them so much? Tell them go their way. Let them go privately and deal with Maduro like them business. But don't take our country down there. Even when Guyana was under pressure, they looked to the left and they couldn't see no support from Rowley. But Rowley and Small Pen defending Maduro. But how come every deal, every big business deal, any sort of business, any sort of contract, how come Rowley and Small Pen and the PNM just find the worst of the worst? How come every company them want to do business with or sell your assets for have questions to ask? What happened to the millions of good, balanced, brilliant, amazing, audited, financially correct companies that do business properly with corporate governance, openly, transparency, and accountability? What happened to them companies? Them companies don't want to do business. Them companies don't want to make profit. How come every company, Rowley and Small Pen find, has some questions to answer about corruption, delisting, poor deals, bans, fines? Or if it is joke I make it, look, go and Google it, go and check it for yourself. Even Small Pen say, well, they get delisted twice, no big thing, but the accounts was late, right? Okay, what about Quantum? The company where Wade Mark said, but they didn't even have an office. The two electricians was going to buy a refinery. What about that? They had no track record, no accounts, no nothing. What about Trafigura PTE? The myriad of global atrocities. The Wilmeru Petty. The ES Euro shipping under Wilmeru Petty. Linked to Maduro. Linked to Delcy Rodriguez. Astrubal Chavez. Pedro Telechea, who Maduro lock up. What about them? That's who Rowley want to do business with. Then before that, Jindal. Jindal have corruption allegation all over Rowley. Say no big thing. Bring him in the diplomatic center and take picture. What about Bridgemans? What about Shell? Shell Corporation? How the gas leave Europe on the Manolatis and halfway through the Atlantic turn to Trafigura PTE to come into Paris at Pointe-à-Pitre to go back out on ES Euro shipping under Wilmer Rupert and end up in Palo Alto, Venezuela. How that happened, Shell? All you have to answer these things. What about Bridgemans? Can't find the Bridgemans office now. The Kobo Star still running. Over 300 million in crooked money according to Rowley, but the crooked money running in 8 or 9 years now. Where the ocean stem that didn't reach? How Bridgemans even qualified? How Allison due diligence Lewis, former permanent secretary, and Nikwan? What about Nikwan? Where all your assets? How much money Nikwan owe? 500 million US. How they got 120 million US loan from Republic Bank when Allison due diligence Lewis was on the board? What about Warner Construction, Rowley family and business partner, and the construction group and the group of companies? How many questions them have to answer? What about Barita and Cornerstone, that First Citizens Bank board under PNM just investing all your money, all your assets, all of in them companies that Wade Mark and them show you they have questions to answer. What about the Chinese housing contract that Rowley approved as acting Minister of Housing, then say he didn't know nothing about it, and when the information came out, had to cancel the contract because it was the most corrupt contract in history. That HDC housing contract with China Gezuba Group Engineering Company International. What about that? Oh gosh, what about the king of the kings? What about the bareback man? The only bareback honest Indian who cussing all over the internet, cussing camera, cussing everybody and love Rowley and small pen like hog love mud. What about he? How come Rowley and them like he friend? Rowley does only have friend that have question to answer. What about Malcolm Jones, Ken Julian, Bamboo Networks, Nelson Gate, taking them out of court? Every company that Rowley and Smallpen want to do business with is not a top tier company. They all find them with a set of questions and come to tell you, no big thing. There are corruption allegations, no big thing. They are dictator, no big thing. They are drug trafficker, no big thing. They indicted narco-terrorists, no big thing. The thief election, no big thing. We go in and fly back and forth to go up in the K-Pax. The only problem is they're taking Trinidad and Tobago there too. So all you do something to save yourself. Hey, what to do? Get rid of Rowley and Smallpen. Bless.